Pleasant good afternoon to all. Let me acknowledge the presence of all of the comrades of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party and the St. Kitts-Nevis Trades and Labour Union as we do our usual sojourn from graveside to graveside for those who have gone before us and on whose shoulders we stand. Particularly want to acknowledge the presence of the daughters of Sir Probin Innis. We're here at his grave site. Angela and Marcia, thank you for coming out once again. For me, Sir Probin represented integrity, he represented principle, and he was someone who fought for good governance. We had many debates between both of us. We never always agreed, but at the end of the day, we remained very good, very close. And so I always respected him for the views that he took. Even if it meant giving up his governorship, which he did, he would do that based on principle. And when we look at what is happening today in this country, the low level where we're at, we have to make sure that we continue to honor and pay tribute to role models like Sir Probin Innis, who stood for integrity throughout his life. And so we want to pay our respects to him once again. And I also want to thank the Labour movement for doing this every year, because this is how our young people will know about those on whose shoulders we stand, to carry on their work, those who lay the foundation. And so we are very happy to be here once again at the gravesite of Sir Probin Innis, a man who dedicated his life to service, whether in the public service, the community, the church, wherever. He was a man of service. And so today I want to introduce someone who will speak on his behalf, Miss Marsha Henderson, who has also given her life to service. And so Marsha will bring a few words of tribute to Sir Probin. Marsha.
Good afternoon, comrades and friends. This afternoon we're here to pay homage to our fallen comrade Sir Probin Innis. And following on what our senior comrade Marcelo Leiber just said, it is good when our leaders can see and acknowledge potential in our young people, because that is what happened with our comrade Sir Probin when he returned from studies. Sir Bradshaw would have taken Sir Probin under his wings, and he is known for being our youngest governor. No, he came back, and at an early age, his potential was seen by our first national hero, and he took him. He was first worked as his permanent secretary, and he's known for his contribution in public service. Sir Probin would have in fact served he worked as a Crown Counsel, and he would have served as governor under 3 separate administrations, that being that of Bradshaw, Southwell and Limor, and he even served shortly under Sir Kennedy Simmons. He is known, and I remember him today, for his bravery and his resilience when he refused to assent to a particular bill that he found to be unconstitutional. He was fearless, and he refused to assent to the bill. Thereafter, he was terminated, unfortunately, but he continued his contribution privately in private practice. And even as Marcelo would have suggested, Comrade Marcelo suggested, through even church, and more importantly, his documentation of our history as a people. And so this afternoon, we want to acknowledge the contribution, the sterling contribution of Sir Probin Innis. We salute him and his family this afternoon, and I'm indeed honored to be here to speak a few words in history on behalf of him.
Thank you, Marsha. Thank you. Well spoken. And now we will ask the daughters, can do it together, to lay the wreath on the grave of their father. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Farewell, Sir Probin, until next year, God's prayer. We're going to move to Sir Cuthbert Sebastian's gravesite.
Good afternoon once again. The London.
Thank you. So Cuthbert is a visit
Can
as we have been doing over the last few years during this time day with the great ceremony at the of those who have served with distinction in the transformation of our country. So Cuthbert is not deserving of this not only because he is the son of one of the founding fathers of the labor movement, but because he in his own right has been most deserving of this distinction and recognition. Serving as an ordinary civil servant different France, Cunningham, to study in Canada, returning home after specializing in obstetrics and gynecology. He would have served at certain every single district here in our country, especially in St. Kitts, service at serving as the potential representative of his past on behalf of the labor movement. He eventually was made the Governor General of St. Kitts-Nevis. I would consider Sir Cuthbert as a personal friend and advisor, advising me to do the little things like determining where you place your own clinic as a medical doctor in private practice. Would sit with me on numerous occasions before he was the head of state and every single week as head of state, having the opportunity to bring to his attention what was developing in our country as we transformed it from a country of high unemployment, where workers' rights were being pursued, but to some extent with difficulties, to the development of our country, transitioning the economy from sugar agriculture to services, in particular hospitality and tourism services as the leader, and of course discussing how the ordinary people of this country lived. Sir Cuthbert was a man of fairness, public servants who would have felt that they were unfairly treated within the public service would make their way to Government House to see him, and he would use his best efforts to ensure that justice was pursued. We will always remember him as not only the longest serving head of state of St. Kitts-Nevis, but one who was most deserving of that responsibility that was given to him on behalf of our people and government. And so this afternoon, it gives me yet again a special honor and privilege to say a few words, especially knowing that he has been able to nurture and to some extent shape the future of our political development with his stepson now stepping forward as a candidate to serve the people of constituency number 4. I believe that this is one of the important tributes that we can pay to his son-in-law, sorry. And so I now ask both of them, his daughter and his son-in-law, lay the grave, to lay the wreath on his grave at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll now move to the graveside of Comrade France.
Yes, good afternoon again. We're here at the gravesite of our He was a man of few words, plenty of action, and for that the workers loved him sincerely. We're now going to ask the caretaker for the constituency number 3 to say a few words on behalf of the labor movement.
Thank you, thank you, Frank, and a pleasant good afternoon to all of the comrades here. Our comrade leader, Dr. Terence Drew, Deputy Leader Jeffrey Hanley, candidates from 4, Mr. Duggins, from 2, Marsha, from number 7, Leon, our comrade leader emeritus, Dr. Denzel Douglas, members of the Labour Executive and the Trades and Labour Union. A pleasant good afternoon to all. In particular, I want to say a special good afternoon to the children and family of Sir Joseph Nathaniel France. It always gives me great pleasure to say a few words on Sir Joseph Nathaniel France, who was the epitome of humble service. He was born in Nevis, but came over to St. Kitts to be a part of the labour movement for the entire country. As we celebrate the achievements for workers, it is fitting that we celebrate all of our comrades, but in particular, Sir Joseph Nathaniel France, who was part and parcel of all significant progressive movements on behalf of the worker. Whether it was in 1935, when we had the Buckley's uprising, he was front and center. Whether it was the establishment of the labor code or the act that allowed unions to be formed in 1940, he was front and center. Whether it was as member for social services and eventually minister for social services, dealing with education, health and social affairs, he was part and parcel. And that is why today, not only do we celebrate him on Labor Day or the day before Labor Day, but also his memory is etched in our hospital, our general hospital, rightly named in his honor as the Joseph Nathaniel France General Hospital, for his invaluable service and contribution to our health care system. I think if he were here today, he would in fact be saddened at the state of disrepair that we see across our health services. But we, as the comrades of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party and the Labour Movement, continue to give the commitment that in his honor, we will once again raise the standard of our healthcare services in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so, as we march tomorrow in solidarity with the workers, we honor and pay tribute to the immense sacrifices and services of Sir Joseph Nathaniel France. We acknowledge, as I said before, the presence of his family, who every year participate in this annual pilgrimage. Many of you will notice that today is actually Sunday and not Monday. That is because as comrades have fallen, we have added them to the list of those who we pay homage to. And so by coming the Sunday before gives us adequate time to pay the proper respects to them while being able to march to the streets of Bastia in solidarity with the workers. And so on behalf of the constituents of constituency number 3, the constituency which I have the pleasure to represent on behalf of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, we pay homage to our national hero, Sir Joseph Nathaniel France. I now pass the wreath to the family, Prudence, who will lay in honor of her father.
Wash them, eh? Wash them. That was coming fast. Lot of action. We now move to the final leader that we're honoring on this wreath laying Sunday. We go to Sir Paul Southwell, final, not too far away, so we'll see you soon. Yes, good afternoon again. We're here at the gravesite of our fallen leader, Sir Paul Southwell. This is our final leader who we're paying tribute to today. He was a stalwart. He was the premier at one time. He was deputy premier. He was also a unionist. Matter of fact, the industrial site is named after him, and he's also guilty of the development of Frigate Bay. So he has been very busy, and I'm sure he's resting peacefully. We're going to hear from the caretaker for number 1, who is making sure he continues the proud work that he thinks. Dr. Anyway, any honorable? Dr. Jeffrey Hanley.
Thank you very much, Comrade Frank Farrell. Yeah, it is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to be here. I recognize Comrade Leader, Dr. Drew, and all of my other colleagues and the family members of the Southwell family and all of the other family members and supporters who are here with us this afternoon doing our usual respect trip at this time towards our fallen stalwarts. A few years ago, when I was asked or introduced as a candidate, I made a promise right here at the graveside of Comrade Sir Paul Southwell that I will be the next Labour representative after the elections, and indeed that has come true. And I say it again, that whenever the next general elections are called, I will return as the Honourable, carrying on the legacy that Sir Paul Southwell would have done. All of us know him as one who championed the cause for the manufacturing industry, tourism, culture, you name it. He would have served as Premier, as others would have mentioned. And indeed, we are grateful for the support and the contribution that he would have made to St. Kitts, especially not being a native of St. Kitts, which was instrumental in the Labour Party, that it doesn't matter where you are from, once you are able to contribute in a positive way, we welcome that. And this afternoon, as we pay homage to our fallen former Premier and our national hero, I want to thank his daughter in particular, who is always with us. Whatever event we are having, I can honestly say this is a true stalwart. The legacy of her father continues in her, not only in her attendance, but also in her dressing. She always ensures that she has something red, depicting that she is solidly behind Labour. So, and she's not for sale, as she is wearing today. So I want to thank her for loaning her father to this nation. And we look forward to your continued support. And with her is her other sister, who I am not so familiar with. Yes, Dixie? Pixie. Yeah, Pixie, yes. So we want to welcome you, and I'm happy that you're here at this time. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to remain for the extension. So once again, we want to thank you for following us from since 2:30 this afternoon. And I think the comrades, the candidates, deserve a round of applause because we have finished on time this year. So I want to thank them for the discipline and indication of what we will be doing in government. Amen. Thank you very much, and may God continue to bless us all. And follow us this evening, 8 o'clock, in our public meeting in Newtown, George Street.
Yes, we'll now ask Dr. Jeffrey Hanley to pass the wreath to the children of Sir Paul to lay the wreath on behalf of the the Labour movement on this Labour Sunday. Yeah.
You just lean forward.
Yes, okay. Before we leave, this is the last, like I said, this is the last ceremony we have for today. We're going to ask the leader of the Labour Party to wrap up for us and to tell you what's coming up today and tomorrow. Dr. Drew.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Frank. I want to say a special thank you to the St. Kitts-Nevis Trades and Labour Union and to our great party and all the candidates who are here with us today, and to recognize the former candidates and representatives who would have been part of the Labour movement. I want to recognize the members of our executive as well, and the executive of the Trades and Labour Union, and the family members who are also here, who came out to make sure that the wreaths were laid and to share with them in paying respect to their fallen family member, who of course our comrades. I want to also recognize the technicians who followed us and make sure that these ceremonies, as I call them, each one was carried live so that our people could have followed along with us. The St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, along with the Trades and Labour Union, during this weekend, we will be marching tomorrow through the streets of Bastia, and we want to invite all of you to join us as we are in solidarity with all of the workers here in St. Kitts and Nevis to bring to the fore the plights of the workers and what we are asking for the workers to benefit from. And this evening we have our public meeting in George Street, Newtown, which will start at 8 p.m. And as Comrade Jeffrey said, the Honorable Comrade Jeffrey, who is the representative for constituency number 1, we intend to start on time and we intend to finish on time. So I'm asking all of you to join us in person if you can, and by social media if not possible. So I ask you to join us as we continue to celebrate this Labor Day weekend with the rest of the activities. Thank you very much, and join us later. So tomorrow morning I'm informed that we have breakfast at 8 a.m. So you can join us for 8 a.m. at the Patsy Allers playing field for breakfast, and after breakfast the match is due to start at 10 a.m. All right, so we're asking you to join us. Thank you very much. And what about the concert? Concert in the evening. So it continues until concert. Right, our St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party concert on the Pat Sellers playing field. As is tradition, nothing has changed with respect to venues this year. Thank you very much.